Hi everyone, I'm Angela and I'm going to be talking to you about makeup videos on YouTube. I'm going to explain how they relate to our society and the things that they give to our society and the things they take from the society. And at the end of the video, I hope to give you some tips on how you can better use this medium. Okay, so first off, I want to talk about how makeup videos on YouTube enhance our world socially. Um, since people have been making YouTube videos about makeup, either making a review or like a tutorial or something, or showing the products that they bought, they've kind of created a subculture to, um, I guess, the beauty industry. But instead of it being targeted into making you better, you're more so dealing with people who are on the same level as you and have the same experiences as you do. And it kind of creates like a forum for people of many different races and backgrounds or whatever it may be to come together and talk about one topic. So that was an enhancement. Um, just bringing people together in another way that they wouldn't have been brought together before. Now makeup is no longer just makeup, it's kind of a culture in itself. And this is because of the popularity of makeup videos on YouTube. Secondly, revival. I want to talk about how YouTube has maybe revived some things that we've lost in the past and how this technology or this medium um, has brought that back. And I related it to etiquette classes for young women because a lot of the women who, or men, but mainly the women that talk about makeup on YouTube, they direct it towards women their age, but a lot of them are mothers, and so they direct it towards their young daughters who are curious about makeup and kind of coming of age and really not really knowing how to do their makeup or what to do and what's appropriate for their age. And in the process of teaching them these things, they usually, because I've seen many of these videos, they kind of give them a self-esteem coaching and just teach them how to deal with people who may be bullying them at school or may talk about them, and kind of they're very positive images for young women, given that most of them who are making these videos are mothers themselves. So I feel like they're a better image for young women than a lot of the women in media right now. So I guess you could say that these makeup videos have become the new age etiquette class for young women, since not many people do that anymore and it used to be very popular. The reversal on the same topic of etiquette, the reversal dealing with these videos is that they're not always positive. I can say as a viewer of the videos that most of the time the people making them are positive people who want to be a positive image for young women, but sometimes they're women who do not mean to be talking to young girls, but as a consequence of being on YouTube and it being so accessible to them, they are speaking to young girls, and they're not always the type of image that we would want for 13-year-olds and tweens and little girls to have. So I guess it is kind of a reversal. Even though we're making progress, we are kind of, hmm, I guess, reversing our progress through certain videos, and depending on who the video maker is, it could be a bad influence on young girls, and the things that they talk about sometimes is stuff that you shouldn't talk about with grown women and young girls seeing them. Okay, lastly, what has YouTube videos mainly focusing on makeup made obsolete? So I guess people who wear makeup is mostly going to understand this. The beauty consultant that you would see at Nordstrom's or any makeup counter in any store is pretty much obsolete. Because people are watching these videos, they're coming in a lot more informed than they would have before. Before YouTube and before this movement in makeup, you really don't know anything about the product when you see it. So pretty much the makeup consultant can sell you whatever she wants to sell you, and that is exactly what they're going to do because they work on commission. So before you would come into, say MAC, it's very popular. You would come into MAC and they would say something like, "Oh, this concealer is great for you and it's going to work perfect on you," and then you take it home and it really doesn't work perfect on you. But they're going to tell you that everything works great because that's their job and they're trying to sell the product. Now with YouTube and the YouTube gurus and makeup gurus, you can learn about a product and how it works from several people on YouTube that are just like you, who are using the product every day, who will give you a detailed review of how it works and what it does and what it doesn't do, that's honest. And they're not trying to do it to make money, they're just trying to do it to help out their fellow, makeup wearer. So now, the makeup consultant is pretty much obsolete. When I personally go into a makeup store, I know exactly what I want because I've done research, I've seen it before, and they can't really sell me like, oh, this is gonna work great. No, you kind of walk there and like, I want this, and you buy it and you leave. So pretty much, the makeup consultant is obsolete, and they're kind of just there to sell you the product now. Just to recap really quick before I go into how to better use the medium, I said the enhancement was a reconnection of people who may not have connected before, and also the creation of a subculture, which I think just enhances the diversity of culture in a society, and the retrieval etiquette training for young girls. There are many positive images of women on YouTube who are doing makeup, and even though there's some who are not very positive, most of them are. Reversal negative images, images that are influencing young girls to act beyond their years, maybe, or to do things that maybe their parents wouldn't want them to do or wouldn't be acceptable in society. And lastly, the beauty consultant is now made obsolete. So, a couple of tips from my research and just kind of coming up with that analysis is, I would say, because these videos are watched for both information and entertainment. I can say this as a viewer. You don't always watch it just because you want to know about a product. Sometimes it's just cool to see what's out there. It's kind of like shopping but not going anywhere. So, my first piece of advice would be to focus on making your video um, natural, and that way it could, and be yourself kind of when you're on there. That way it could entertain the viewer but still inform them, and they don't feel like they're doing research. I think one of the biggest reasons now that consumers are so informed about these products before they go into the store is because they don't realize how much research they've done subconsciously just by watching these videos. So when they go in, they automatically know exactly what they want, and they wouldn't say like, oh, I went and I researched the product and I went online and I read all these articles and everything, because they were just probably watching one of the women do their makeup that they usually watch all the time. And so my second piece of advice would be to know your viewers. So when you're doing something like makeup, you're generally, of course, not every woman's going to be interested in that, but you're generally attracting a female audience, and that could range from many ages. And knowing what teenage girls and young girls are attracted to these days, especially because of the media, you need to keep in mind that they are also going to emulate you, especially because YouTube is just so widely accessible, and young girls are already gravitated to whatever the content is that you're putting on your page. So be conscious of that, and knowing that with YouTube you can become very popular, and with that there's a responsibility. You might just be living your own life, but when you begin to put it online and make it accessible to more people, you're responsible for what you're saying and how you're affecting them. So that should be kept in mind too. Um, Lastly, stay true to what you're doing. One of the biggest problems that I've seen with these videos is because it's becoming so popular, and because um, women are making these reviews, it's almost becoming a marketing tool for businesses. And some people who started off as just reviewing a product that they bought on their own are now reviewing products to make money, and they are saying that it's great when it's probably not. You know, people who view these videos have seen it many times before. I know I've seen it many times before. Um, for example, a young woman who just came out of the army, she started making videos about how to do your makeup when you're in the army, and how to get around basically the rules of what you can and can't do as a woman. And suddenly, she begins reviewing all types of products that you never heard of or not on the market, and she's just saying they're great, they're great, they're great, they're all great. And until the new regulation came up that you had to say whether you had bought the product on your own or if it was given to you, no one would really know that most of those products were given to her and she was being paid to give her opinion, a positive opinion at that. So that's my last piece of advice, would just be to stay truthful. The main reason that this medium is useful and positive is because it gives honest opinions of products, and it just shows people who can relate to each other. We're all regular people, consumers, interested in the same thing, and it brings each and every one of us who are involved in it some sort of joy. And we want to know that that joy is honest. And also, just keep in mind that you're not always speaking to someone who is your age, or that, there are young girls out there. And if even if you're not a mother, you don't know what that's like. I'm not a mother, but I wouldn't want to influence young girls to do something that, is not positive for them. So keep that in mind. Once again, I'm Angela, and thank you for watching my video. Bye. See you later.